the easiest ways that I have found, I teach at St. Leo University. I still teach for the FBI. I still teach around the world nonverbal behaviors. And one of the ways that I have found to teach nonverbal behaviors is very simply, if you understand how the brain works, it simplifies how you will understand the world around you. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to look at the brain and say, what is it that's going on in the brain when we are having thoughts, when we're having feelings, when we have intentions? And as you look at this example of the brain, you realize that we have this earlier, more primitive area of the brain, which is often referred to as the reptilian brain. This controls our heart, it controls our lungs, it controls our breathing, digestion, and so forth. And this is why a person can have brain injury and still live in a persistent vegetative state. This part of the brain does no thinking. It merely allows the organism, the human body, to exist. This next area here, and this is the most critical area for us, is called the limbic brain. It's called the limbic brain because it comes to us from the Latin for limbus, or the border area. And it's truly the border area between the primitive brain and the more elegant new brain, or neocortex, where all our high-order thinking takes place. So we want to look at now at the limbic system, this area between the very ancient reptilian brain and the neocortex, the thinking brain. It's the neocortex that took us to the moon, that does the math, that does all the calculations, that figures out how to use your computer. That's the new brain, the neocortex. It's also the lying brain. That's the brain that can deceive. That's the brain that can say, we're not home, or any other lie that we might tell every day. But the limbic system is the honest brain. The limbic system doesn't lie. Within the limbic structures, we have the hippocampus, this structure which retains all of our emotional memories. You're 3 years old and you burn your finger on a cigarette lighter or on the stove. You will remember that all your life because it's stored within the hippocampus. We have an amygdala, which reacts to the world around us. You smell rotten food and you purse your lips and you go, I don't like that. 40 years later, you're looking at a contract and you don't like what you see, and we do it the same way. The amygdala actually causes us to go and we purse our lips. And there's other structures within the limbic system which regulate emotions. This is also known as the emotive brain. All emotions are housed within the limbic system. But the limbic system is also responsible for our survival. And so it's the limbic system that makes us turn around when someone gets too close to us while we're taking money out of an ATM machine. It's the limbic system which, when the doors to the elevator open, say, don't get in there. There's something wrong about the people inside that elevator. These are things over which we really don't have control. In fact, the limbic system kicks on right when we're born. And it's a very elegant system because it does no thinking. Your limbic brain does absolutely no thinking. It merely processes input. So when you see at age 3 days old, you see something you like your mother, your pupils dilate. 30 years later, you're looking at a contract and you realize you're going to make a lot of money, your pupils still dilate. And the same way as when you as a child see something you don't like, your pupils constrict. And 30 years later, you see someone you fought with in high school and your pupils still constrict. You have absolutely no control over this. These are true, honest limbic reactions. And that's what we're going to use. when we are looking at nonverbal behaviors, we're going to be looking at the nonverbal behaviors that are governed by the limbic brain and say, well, how do we use these in business and how do we interpret them when we see them?